Hey there, friends. Sitting here in my hotel room, packed up, ready to go. Gonna head home from the NRA annual meeting here in Indianapolis tomorrow morning. 6 o'clock, early flight. Watching The Gladiator, by the way. What a great movie. The part where the slave trade guy says, you sold me some queer giraffe, because all he do is stand around and eat or something like that. That's pretty good. So I wanted to talk about real quick the NRA annual meeting. This weekend was a little different. As we all know, the NRA has lost its power, if you want to call it that, from a lobbying standpoint. The anti-gun wackos on the left still think that the NRA is the all-powerful in the gun rights movement. Well, they never really were, although they were a really strong lobbying arm. Man, you talk about a different altogether aspect this weekend. I put a video out a month or so ago talking about how the NRA had lost all of their money and how they were running on fumes running into this NRA annual meeting here in Indianapolis. Well, it's more so than what you thought. You could see where they had trimmed costs at every step of the way. Now, this doesn't include Wayne LaPierre's $200,000 suits. They didn't change any of that. He still got his $200,000 suits, and every dime that they spend on themselves is still obviously there. Where they cut back is in several other areas. More notably, for one, and this tells me that they must have spent a ton of money on this, from an app standpoint. NRA shot, any of these people out there have IT companies that they spend money on the app for. You download the app from the iTunes store or wherever, and that's where you get all the information and data that you need. The companies, the booth numbers, all that stuff, contact information. They don't have that. All they had was a paper hand map that they handed out to you. Might seem insignificant to you, but that's tens of thousands, possibly, knowing how the NRA overspends, hundreds of thousands of dollars in money that they felt like they needed to save in order to spend it on Wayne and some of the other wackos at the NRA. I also noticed that badges were a little bit different. Badges were extremely generic. Badges essentially had, and I don't know if I have my badge laying around here. Let me see if I've got mine in here somewhere so I can show you guys. Yeah, maybe so. Badges were essentially this. That was the badge that you got. So naming who you were with and all that, yeah, there were some. You did see some. I think exhibitors might have gotten those. But super generic badges, well, by there, they cut back on manpower, printing, certainly different areas that they save money in. That's just a few of the areas. At their meetings that they had and their speeches that they had with LaPierre and all those other folks, the same dried up, old, generic meetings that they had. My point is, nothing has changed. The NRA is living on fumes right now. They're almost completely out of business. They're still spending money on themselves like they always have, but they're cutting in other areas, which shows you that they don't have much money left. The video I put out a couple months ago showed that they had a $28 million credit limit, and they were actually overdrawn on that by $3 million. They were up to $31 million on their credit limit, meaning $3 million over on their credit limit. These guys are out of money. This was a big fundraising effort for them. There were $5,000 tables at some of these events, $2,500 tables at breakfasts, things like that. So they're utilizing this event to keep them afloat for whoever knows how long. I guess Wayne LaPierre has another suit they need to buy, maybe another payment on his mansion. Nevertheless, these guys look like they're on their last leg. I'm not trying to bash the NRA, and I'm not trying to knock them down. They are a garbage organization right now with the leadership they have. They do have the potential to be a better organization and help with the fight. They are not huge helps with the fight right now because Wayne LaPierre and his folks do not agree with the same other gun rights organizations out there that we have seen and grown to love, like GOA, FPC, and some of those other folks out there, NAGR. Again, they all need to fight together. No one organization can do this together. Now, the NRA thinks that they can do it together, I believe. I don't think they like the other organizations being around. The other organizations like the NRA being around, they just don't like the message that the NRA sends. If we could get the NRA to get rid of this garbage leadership they have, starting with Wayne LaPierre, and work their way through the garbage board and garbage officers they have within the organization, I think they could resurrect that organization and actually start to contribute again to gun rights again. But for right now, it's very obvious that these people are weak, and this is nothing more than a fundraising effort this weekend, not a gun rights activist organization effort. This is a fundraising effort to keep them afloat that we saw here in Indianapolis this weekend.